Hello, good afternoon. I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day. Welcome to episode number 4 of How to Be Absolutely Happy. Yay! So, how are we going to be happy today? Well, I wanted to say why I felt really happy during the Enlightened Warrior Camp, and a lot of the time when you see me, it's because I'm excited to share. It's because not every moment is about me. It's because when I'm around others, I want them to have a good time, and I don't need to put my baggage on them. So not that nothing ever comes up, but just that I take care of that at a separate time, so when I'm around people, I can be present to giving to them. And if I really absolutely can't, then I pull away. But to be honest, I've been put to big tests in the past. One example was when I lived in Santa Barbara. I was teaching about 30 yoga and fitness classes a week, and I was a fitness director, and I ran my own business. I led longer trainings as well. I attended them. Basically, I was in front of or around or managing other people a lot. And the job called for me to be very present for them. It didn't call for Avital and her problems to be laid on those people. I was in a position to be inspiring and supporting other people. Yet, at the same time, I had a lot of drama in my home. And there were even days when my ex-husband would block the door while we were in a fight and wouldn't let me out. And there I was about to be late to go lead a program. Somehow I would convince him to let me out the door. You don't want to know how I did that all the time, but I would eventually get out the door. Sometimes I would be late to what I was doing, but most of the time I made it on time, sobbing on the way there because it was not a good experience that I was having and not a good feeling that I was feeling inside. Yet the moment I parked my car in the parking lot and shut the door, it was time to be present for the people around me. And I think there was one day that I actually stepped out of the car and then saw a student and said, "I can't teach today," and got back in the car and left. I think I was also sick, very, very sick, not just upset. But the rest of the time, I don't know if anyone would have known what was going on in my home, because I made a choice to be giving to those people, to find a space to help uplift them. And the interesting thing is, though, once I started being in that space of giving, I would forget about my own problems. And that's when life turns around from not being so much about myself to being about others. That's when we learn that when we give, sometimes that is the resolution to our problems. A lot of our problems are just the ideas in our head that there is a problem. So when we get out of our head and into that space of giving, you could do it through other ways as well, just by doing a really fun activity or dancing or singing, which brings you more into the heart and the body and out of the mind. But the idea is that I was doing something that got me out of my head where the problems existed. And then I was able to be happy and to be sharing. There are a couple stories from some of the trainers that I've seen at some of these big events, and one of them was called to the stage sooner than he was ready to get there, and so he's running through this huge auditorium of thousands of people, and this is in another country, I don't remember which one, but they have the stage extra, extra high, and he had to climb all of these stairs, and he's huffing and puffing as he's getting on stage, and he's hoping his breath will calm down as he's walking towards the center, and he comes up with some creative idea to engage the audience and pulls them in last minute. He didn't even know he was going to be going on stage. later on, he goes to his boss, he goes to the people in the AV room, and he asks them, how did I do? How was it? And they said, we didn't really notice you, but the audience looked pretty happy. He realized from that moment, it wasn't about him. I love those stories from this one trainer who's been training thousands of people for over 15 years around the world. And he says he remembers when in the beginning there'd be 1,000 people so engaged in his audience and one person leaving, and he'd sit there worried about that one person. But first of all, it wasn't so much about him and what he might be doing right or wrong. And then look at the bigger picture of the impact and the influence that we could have. And once again, how good do you feel when you think about that one person leaving, or when you think about this huge audience being so excited for you? I'll share one more just quick story about that too, because in the Enlightened Warrior Camp, they put a poster on the wall, and they made a big box on the poster and then put a little dot. But sometimes in life, we zoom in on that one dot and we make it our whole reality. And that one dot might be something that's not so great in our life. At the end of the camp, we had a number of people go around and just share what was great about each other. And so I got to hear all these wonderful things about me. And very recently, I was very closely engaged with somebody that it just wasn't expressing that, that just didn't seem like they really valued having me in their life or seeing all those great things in me. And I realized that even if somebody is a big person in your life, in the bigger scheme of the world and life, they're still just a dot. They're still just one person and one person's opinion. And that's important for anybody who's parent, or if you're having problems with your spouse right now, your siblings, your kids, your coworkers, your boss, whoever it might be around you who is very present in a very big part of your life, but very disagreeable with who you are. Remember that they're just a dot. They're just one person. It's always important to take feedback and consider how we might grow and how we might present ourselves better to others. But to remember not to completely in just one little piece. I hate to say this because of our presidential election, but I used to be able to say this and it made more sense. But when a president wins by a landslide, he wins by 51%. It's only 51%. So if you have more than 51% of the people in your life enjoying you, then you're doing better than the president. So maybe all of us could do better than the president and just really enjoy all the people who enjoy us and think about the experience that we're giving them. And in that space, we'll have a beautiful experience as well. Many blessings and so much love to you. If you found this video useful, then please comment below, share your thoughts, like the video, share it with others so that they can enjoy these gifts as well. Bye-bye.